What is going on, Rage? Coming back with another Rager. We are here with some Madden 24, which I cannot wait to get into. Madden 24 franchise mode, to be exact. This will be, um, well, basically, this will be my offline Madden 24 franchise. So I can't wait to get started. I currently do not have a team that I want to do. So this video is basically some teams that I could be interested in doing and some of the reasons that I want to do them. But getting started, I will say the Titans are probably off my list simply because I will be doing an online franchise mode with the Titans that I will also be doing videos on. That one's not going to be as structured. Sometimes it might just be me playing. It might be a post commentary. It might be me and a buddy, because we will be in the league together as well. So he might be just in the party while we're both trying to play at the same time. So it might be a little bit different than this franchise. It might be a little bit laid out differently, but let's get into this video. So the first team that I kind of want to do, and I really want to do this team, is the Rams. I know they just won a Super Bowl, but with the last 2 years not having their draft picks, they finally get their draft picks, so they don't have a flux of incoming insane talent that's just going to be that they don't have any rookies really. They don't have any top tier talent in rookies. And then another reason, big one, is they don't have a lot of cap, and they're kind of locked up with Matthew Stafford taking 50 million almost the next 3 years after this season. So it's like I can't cut them unless I want to incur a penalty of 74 million. So I have to either rock with a bad quarterback, or just keep him on the roster. So do I keep him and start him and just be bad, or do I, start Stetson Bennett this year? You really don't know because I'm not going to get a whole lot of development out of him. And then minus that, Cam Akers is there. Zach Evans out of Ole Miss, he's a rookie. He could be fun to develop. I like that. Running backs are a little bit easier to develop. Cooper Kupp, he's making a lot of money, but he is 30. He's basically on the wrong side of 30 for Madden at least. They have Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Puka. I thought he was a little bit faster than that, but I guess not. But really don't have a whole lot of talent at receiver. So Tutu might be interesting, but he's 5'9". He's a gadget player. He might be something, but you never know. At tight end, they don't have a lot to work with. Tyler Higbee's 30. Um, that's, that's about it. 20. Davis Allen is 22, so they have something in there. But that's about it at tight end. So then you have their offensive line. It's just bad. They're Havenstein, but he is 31 plus. I think he's on a pretty decent contract as well. Let me look. No, just 2 years, so nothing bad. Then their defense. Their front seven minus Aaron Donald is just not that good. It's just not good. It's really young, really nobody there that really needs to be developed. Nick Hampton seems pretty good, has some speed to him as an edge rusher. Uh, Not much to look at, not much to say. Oh yeah, we got something here for sure. So, we have also Mathis out of Nebraska. Uh, he's also young, but very, very raw. Their cornerback situation. Really nothing in the super far future that's going to be dominant. We have Hodgins Tomlinson. He's purely, in my opinion, a slot corner. Kendrick out of Georgia. very slow, so he will not be starting at cornerback for me if we take them. Vincent Gray, he's also a rookie out of Michigan, who would probably be starting over him if that were the case. And then at safety, you have not a whole lot to work with. Rashad Torrance, a rookie out of Florida. LeCount, I mean, just not a. Well, he's 82 speed at safety. It's just not worth having. And then Jordan Fuller, who seems to be the one of the only good ones that they have in the back end. So, just this team needs so much work, and I just don't know if. I mean, but I don't know how long it would take to actually get them up there. It would take them a little bit with the cap situation you have to balance, or plus the fact that they haven't had, rookie talent that's going to be developed in the next so years. So it would be a fun rebuild, and I would be 100% down for it. My next team that I was thinking about doing is the Washington Commanders. On the flip side, they're in a pretty decently tough division. They don't have a set quarterback. Sam Howell would be fun to develop in a user league, so that would be fun. Or you could just go draft one. Brian Robinson would be a fun back. Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson would be a fun duo to have. Then you have wide receiver. Obviously, you have Terry McLaurin. You're pretty set at receiver. You can actually develop them. Not a whole lot you could do with the Rams, but it would be a fun team. Logan Thomas, you would have to go out and try to get a tight end because Logan Thomas is getting older. Their offensive line is pretty bad, minus their left tackle and right tackle, who you kind of have set. Then their D line is where it gets very interesting and very fun. Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, roll tide. Obviously, I'm also an Alabama fan. I know everybody hates it. Boo us. But I love, and also Brian Robinson. I know, but I am an Alabama fan, and it would be fun to play, and also Fedarian Mathis. But it would also be fun to play with this D line. Would be insane. It would eat offenses alive. Then you have Chase Young and Montez Sweat, obviously on the edges. I know I'm everywhere right now, but Chase Young, super young, developable, uh, into one of the best edge rushers in the league, as I should say. But then you have Montez Sweat, another edge who is um, he could get there. He could get there. I don't know. That 90 speed, 92 excel, just insane with 80 strength. But then you go on to your middle linebacker or your coverage linebackers, a little bit less talent here, but you do have Jamin Davis and Khaleke Hudson. Very fast, both of them for users or just linebackers in general. Then you have their cornerback situation, which is a little bit. I mean, it's there. I think it's a lot better than certain teams. Obviously, you have Kendall Fuller, who's a decent overall. Then you have their first round pick, Emmanuel Forbes. Then you have Benjamin St. Just, Danny Johnson, and then Tariq Castro Fields. So you have some corners to work with there. Then you have a very young safety in Derek Forrest. So, and then you have Terrell Burgess. So that would be an interesting little duo you could come up with. Cameron Curl, who's very highly rated. Um, or I say highly rated. He's an 83, but he's a very young, good player. Even though that 86 speed, I don't see how that translates. But then you have Joey Sly and then Tress Way. So that is another team that I would be interested to see. And I think you have some people coming up as free agents. I think Chase Young is pretty close to becoming a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick. Yeah, he is a free agent. So you could 50-year option and see what you can do with him. And then Montez Sweat, I think, is pretty close to that as well. Um, did he sign an extension? Yeah, he is also a free agent. So you have some decisions to make, which is not a very hard decision, but you have some decisions to make. You also need to find a playmaker at receiver, and then quarterback. You need to find one of those, and that's hard to do sometimes, you know. So that is a really tough or really decent rebuild slash um, just fun project to do. And then coming down to one of my next teams is the Panthers. QB Bryce Young, obviously Roll Tide. So I know I'm very biased in this one. Very easy rebuild in my opinion to do, but it would be a fun rebuild. You obviously have to find some wide receivers that you could have long term, but you have Jonathan Mingo, and then at running back you obviously have Miles Sanders, who they just signed to a decent contract. QB obviously Bryce Young, love it. Then tight end would be Tommy Tremblay. Trimble would be a pretty fun one to do. But you have Hayden Hurst as your good option. Then your O line. When you break down the O line, it is pretty decent. It's not the worst we've seen in these with these teams. So it is also a decent O line. With starring Ike Ekwamu, and then you have Brady Christensen, uh, Bradley Bozeman, Roll Tide, Austin Corbett, and then Taylor Moton. So a solid O line, honestly. It could be worse. Then with your defensive line, you don't really have anything to work with, minus Derek Brown, I believe, is the only good. Well, Brian Burns, obviously, but he's an edge rusher, outside linebacker. But anyways, Brian Burns rounds this one out. I mean, it would be nice to have someone like Brian Burns on your team, but Derek Brown's also a young, good interior D lineman. Then you have Frankie Louvu, who'd be nice. You can put them on the opposite edges, in my opinion. Have them rush the passer. Thompson, and then you have Brandon Smith. He seems like a developable user. That would be fun. Bumper Pool, rookie out of Arkansas. He was fun to watch in college. Then you have your Turgaros Matos. I think I said that right. Uh, Probably more of a trade piece, but you have somebody low key sneaky down here. Amari Barno, 92 speed, 93 excel with some decent strength, but could be insane as like a if you developed him as a pass rusher, he'd just be insane. But then your cornerback room, just I mean, it's kind of there. You got J.C. Horn, who's going to be a beast. Then C.J. Henderson, who's pretty good, and then Dante Jackson. So you have something to work with there. Then you have Jeremy Chin, who could probably play in the box more than anything, with Xavier Woods in the on the back end, with Von Bell and Eric Rowe. Their safety group is pretty solid. So it's a young team with a young quarterback. That would be a fun project or a fun little franchise to do. Um, but yeah, then I'm gonna. Then it's really a wild card. The Bears I want to do, but they have a really good situation. Honestly, I think that offense would be very good. Uh, it's going to be a very good offense in Madden, more specifically. It would be a good offense. So the Bears are an iffy team that might be fun to do. Then you have the Broncos. The Broncos would be an interesting one. Their division is so tough. That goes for the Broncos and the Raiders. Their division's so tough. Do you see them winning so much? Plus, you have Russ at a very high age with a very low overall with a very large contract. So, do you see Russ taking them to the promised land, making 58 million in 2026, So, it would be an interesting one to do, especially at 34 years old. So, that team is on the board. They also have some prospects and some really good talent on their team. So obviously you got Javante, you got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, who's a rookie out of Oklahoma. Then you have decent O line from all of them, or for all of them. A decent O line in general. Mike McGlinchey, their new acquisition, and then you have their he was a rookie last year, Greg Dulcich. So that'd be a fun little project to do. You'd have to build up the defensive line, I believe. Zach Allen, Randy Gregory, Jonathan Cooper, I believe. Yeah, 2 years at Ohio State. He was good off the edge for them last year, I believe. He was a pretty good edge rusher. But yeah, then you got Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton, Drew Sanders would be a fun linebacker. He's from Arkansas. He was a former Alabama player. I hated to see him go, but no, it's Baron Browning who was the edge rusher that played really good for them. Baron Browning. He had a couple of good games for them on the edge, and I believe that's where he's going to just line up. He's kind of more of an all over the place, player. But then Pat Surtain, Roll Tide. So obviously, this would be a really good team to do. Riley Moss, rookie out of Iowa, who ran really well. So I think this team would be fun. And you got Justin Simmons as a superstar, rightly deserved. But yeah, this team would be a fun team to do. And in a very tough division with Mahomes and uh, all of them, the Raiders as well, they would be an interesting team to do also. The only reason I really wouldn't want to do them is because of Devontae. He's just so good. And then obviously they also have Josh Jacobs, who's also so good. Their defense would be the part to them you would have to kind of rebuild because you would be giving up so many, and then Chandler Jones would not be a superstar if I took them over. I'd make him a star. But you'd have to really, really kind of build that defense up. It has some pieces like Trevon Moehrig. That's a good piece, and obviously you have Max Crosby to work with. So, is there any other team that I kind of wanted to go over? Maybe the Patriots also, but nobody really wants to see the Patriots as a rebuilt to I guess dynasty level. If that's the what you're going for there. The Saints might be an interesting team to do. I think they're too highly rated right now for me to want to do them. Just because I feel like they're in contention most every year. It would be an interesting team to do. Don't get me wrong, because of the cap situation they're in. They're an older defense, especially with Cam Hayward, or not Cam Hayward, Cam Jordan. And then you have Demario Davis. They're pushing the age limit, but you have Marshawn Lattimore, who's 91 overall. So you have some pieces to work with. Obviously, Tyrann Matthews very on the older side. So I would not be opposed to doing the Saints either. Bring them another Super Bowl. But yeah, I believe that's it. If you want, comment the team you want me to do. So right now, for me, in order, it's probably uh, the Rams, Commanders, Panthers. I'll throw in the Broncos, then the Bears, then the Raiders, then the Patriots. Like the after three, it kind of is in no order. So don't get me wrong. If you want to see one of those teams and want to see an offline franchise, let me know in the comments. I will probably be picking one within the at least by September once we get those rosters out. Um, the week one rosters. So that's probably when I plan on doing this. But in the meantime, you'll see a Titans rebuild alluring to my Titans franchise. That will also be starting in September. So I got a pretty busy September coming up getting these series started. So I can't wait, and I hope you're excited for it too. So comment down below which team you want me to see. It definitely won't be this one, but it might be this one. So just let me know. Comment down below. Give this video a like. Smash that like button so it gets some traction, please. And until next time.